Hey there! If you're a fan of classic Hollywood, then you've probably heard the name Anne Baxter. She was one of the most stunning actresses of her time, with a charm and talent that made her unforgettable on screen. Known for her roles in films like All About Eve and The Ten Commandments, Anne was more than just a beautiful face. She was a force to be reckoned with in the entertainment industry. But while most people remember her for her incredible acting skills, there's another side of Anne Baxter that often gets overlooked. Today, we're diving into some rare and daring photos of Anne that left little to the imagination. Stick around until the end because these pictures will make you see this Hollywood star in a completely different light. Let's start with a little background on who Anne Baxter was. Born in 1923, Anne came from a privileged background. Her grandfather was the famous architect Frank Lloyd Wright, so creativity clearly ran in her family. But from a young age, Anne was determined to make a name for herself in Hollywood. By the time she was in her teens, she was already acting in Broadway plays and quickly caught the attention of Hollywood producers. Anne Baxter made her film debut at just 17 years old. And it didn't take long for her to become one of the most sought-after actresses in the business. Her beauty, poise, and natural talent made her stand out from the crowd. She wasn't just a pretty face. She had depth, intelligence, and charisma that made every performance memorable. She could play the innocent girl next door, the seductive femme fatale, or the powerful leading lady. And she did it all effortlessly. One of her most iconic roles was in the 1950 film All About Eve, where she played the ambitious Eve Harrington. The film earned an Academy Award nomination, and her performance is still considered one of the best in Hollywood history. She also played Nefertiti in The Ten Commandments, where her beauty and dramatic performance captivated audiences around the world. But let's talk about what really has people gasping. Her bold and daring photos that showed a completely different side of Anne Baxter. Back in the golden age of Hollywood, actresses were expected to maintain a certain image. They had to be glamorous, elegant, and always poised. However, Anne wasn't afraid to push boundaries. She knew how to captivate an audience not just on screen, but off-screen too. And some of her photos left fans speechless. One particular photo that has been making waves recently shows Anne in a stunning, barely there gown. The dress was sheer and form-fitting, leaving little to the imagination. Her confidence radiates through the picture, proving that Anne wasn't just an actress, she was a style icon who wasn't afraid to embrace her femininity and beauty. It's a look that would turn heads even today, let alone back in the conservative 1950s. Another set of photos shows Anne posing by the beach, wearing a bold swimsuit that showcased her figure. Now, keep in mind, this was a time when showing too much skin was considered scandalous. But Anne wasn't one to play by the rules. She believed in expressing herself freely and wasn't afraid to break the mold. These photos reveal a confident, empowered woman who knew her worth. So why did Anne Baxter take these daring photos? Some say it was a way to rebel against the strict expectations of Hollywood at the time. Others believe it was simply Anne being herself, bold, fearless, and unapologetically glamorous. Whatever the reason, it's clear that Anne wasn't afraid to own her beauty and her power. Now, let's talk about the reactions to these photos. Fans were divided. Some admired Anne's confidence and boldness, while others were shocked that a respected actress would pose in such revealing outfits. But here's the thing, Anne didn't care about what others thought. She wasn't trying to fit into anyone's idea of what a woman should be. She was living life on her own terms, even today. These photos sparked debates about beauty standards, confidence, and self-expression. Anne's daring photos remind us that it's okay to break the rules and embrace who you are, no matter what society expects from you. She wasn't just ahead of her time, she was timeless. Another important thing to remember is that Anne's boldness wasn't just about her photos. She was a trailblazer in many ways. In an industry dominated by men, Anne stood out as a powerful, independent woman who knew her worth. She took on roles that challenged stereotypes and proved that women could be both beautiful and strong, glamorous and intelligent. But let's not forget Anne's legacy goes beyond her photos and her looks. She was an incredible actress who left a lasting impact on Hollywood. Her performances in films like All About Eve and The Razor's Edge are still studied by aspiring actors today. She won an Academy Award for her role in The Razor's Edge and continued to act in films, TV shows, and on stage throughout her career. So, what's the takeaway from Anne Baxter's story? It's a reminder that beauty is more than skin deep. Anne's photos may have left people gasping, but her legacy is about much more than just her appearance. She was a woman who broke barriers, challenged norms, and lived life on her own terms. She wasn't afraid to be bold, confident, and unapologetically herself. And that's a lesson we can all learn from. Before we wrap up, let me ask you, what do you think about Anne Baxter's daring photos? Are you surprised by how bold she was for her time? Or do you admire her confidence and willingness to push boundaries? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for sticking around until the end. Anne Baxter may have left little to the imagination in some of her photos, but her story is about so much more than just her looks. She's a reminder that confidence, talent, and self-expression are timeless. We'll see you in the next video. And remember, beauty isn't just about what you see on the outside. It's about how you carry yourself and the legacy you leave behind. Stay bold, stay confident, and never be afraid to break the mold.